when you were a teenager, your mother ever gave you unwanted advice? Raise your other hand if you later realized she was right. Contest chair and fellow former teens. When I was a teenager and my parents would pick me up from school, the children would shout, "Verity, your grandparents are here." You get the picture. They were old. Their idea of heaven, a long walk on a crowded beach, was my teen idea of hell. My skinny dad would put on an old baggy tracksuit and a straw hat, and my gray-haired mom would borrow his other baggy tracksuit and then tightly tie on a headscarf. It was like watching a Halloween horror show of a scarecrow taking a witch for a walk. Like any self-respecting teenager, I just walked far behind them until I would bump into Mom, who was always picking up pieces of plastic. It drove me mad. "Mom, you're so embarrassing, and you're never even gonna make a difference." With the patience of a saint, Mom would take a deep breath and then say, "Verity, I know you find me mortifying, but until I am gone, I will challenge you to always leave the world better than you find it." Surprise! The teenager ignored her mother. But I did not deter Mom. At home, at work, on the beach, she was always leaving things better. Until, after 47 years of marriage, my dad, her soulmate, suffered a stroke and died. My mom was lost. Without my dad, she was broken. And it broke my heart when I realized that she was filling her emptiness with wine. The more bottles littered our home, the more unrecognizable my mom became. Eventually, our only hope was for her to check into rehab in my dad's baggy tracksuit and her headscarf. Crazy roommates, tattoos, nose rings. This was Mom's Halloween horror show. But this was where my mom got better. And then do you know what happened? She took on the challenge to help her crazy roommates get better too. My embarrassing mom was suddenly the most popular person in rehab. She was their shoulder to cry on, their cool granny to confide in, and soon their Uber to AA meetings. Picture Mom in her headscarf with her tiny car crammed full of recovering addicts, all trying to educate her into the virtues of rap music. It's 11 years since my mom and dad reunited on a celestial beach. Her life never made the headlines, but there were long lines of people at her memorial, many with tattoos and nose rings. We put out this book for them to share memories of her, and story after story spoke of all the ways that she'd left them better. I loved how she always cleaned up, even if it wasn't her mess. Her mom was the cool gran I always wanted. Sheila driving me to AA meetings is the reason I'm still clean. Do you know what? her beach would have written the same story. And my story? It took losing my mom for me to finally realize that all those years I'd been trying to ignore her challenge, she'd been subtly shaping who I've become. My home is littered with recycling bins. If someone asks me for help, I can't help myself but to help them. And on the beach, well, Mom is having a laugh because I cannot go for a walk without picking up pieces of plastic. It drives my family mad. This world is littered with problems. Plastic, pollution, poverty, and a lot of other words that start with a P. But ask yourself, would any of these problems exist if those before us had left their world better? Given that you're on mute, I am going to answer for you. No! If you think about it, all the good in this world is because someone looks at their stretch of life and they choose to leave it better. There are the obvious names, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Mandela, but I'm interested in the not so obvious names. Yours, mine, my mom's. Do you know what I've realized? You don't need to make the headlines to leave a legacy. It doesn't matter if you're a great leader, a little old lady, or a bad-tempered teen. All that matters is that when it comes to the people and places on your stretch of life, you say yes to a simple challenge. A challenge that thankfully doesn't care who you are or how you dress to make it. It just cares that you choose to always leave the world better than you find it. Raise your virtual hand if you are up for the challenge. Contest chair.
Judges, please submit your ballot.